Okay, this video we're going to explain how to rebuild your pump. First thing you're going to do, obviously, shut the machine down and take it off the machine. This is a swivel fitting on the bottom. Then your hose to the machine goes here. So the first thing you'll do, obviously, is take it off, get it up mounted in your bench like so. Then you take your insulation off. It just slides right off. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this air motor off. When you shut the pump down, try to have the cotter pin up out of this cup, and you'll see what I mean when we take that off. You have 3 tie rods here, 9/16. You'll just take these nuts off. Once you got your tie rod nuts off, you can spin off your air regulator and get that off, because you're going to need to move the pump head back. Like so. If you have the regulator on there, it's kind of hard to pull back. There's your cotter pin. That's what I mean by having the cotter pin up out of the wet cup. If it's down in the wet cup, it's very difficult to get this apart. The next thing we're going to want to do is take the cotter pin out. Cotter pin's out. Once the cotter pin's out, you just spin the motor off. Set the motor to the side. Next thing you're going to do is take this O-ring off right here. Get that O-ring off. Then a 1/4 inch flat punch. Loosen up your wet cup so it's nice and loose. Then you can take a big adjustable. Put it on these 2 flats here. Take off the foot cover. Foot comes right off. And you can take off the bottom part. And that just comes straight off just like that. There's a pin in there. There is a cage in there. And there is a ball in there. Those 3 parts. Okay, now we got to remove the piston. You want to take your wet cup all the way out. Set it to the side. You just want to cover the end so the piston doesn't come shooting out, and then you can tap it out with a mallet. Set this to the side. Then we're ready to take our cylinder off. Use a soft strap wrench.
I remember how you were saying you had orientation issues?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that you have this over here, and I looked at the other pictures, and this was over here.
And that's our cylinder.
Facing this way instead of.
Set it to the side, we can clean it.
Okay.
You have this one, right?
Inside here,
Yeah.
And then I looked at.
there are V-seals.
I couldn't get the start off now.
This is the male from the top.
When I looked at the picture, I had to go up, look the way around, and notice this handle was here. This one was fine. But
And then your V-seals go inside there.
Orientation of the top.
Now you want to take everything over, get it cleaned up.
This is the side.
We'll take our piston apart. Best way to do it
Still probably will, I don't know, you know, but then if you have this real close.
is to lock it.
Right, exactly, and that's what I kept doing. I was looking at my other machine and looking at this machine, and I'm going, no, it's
Bottom nut
right on it.
locked in here.
I did it before, I should be able to do it again, you know?
Right.
And I
I'll
realized,
probably have to change that one too then.
yep.
And we take our wrench.
You know what?
That's what it is, like, it's not really. I guess, but it just feels, it's like you're in a hot box, you know, that's all, there's no way I'm moving and everything's just still, I mean, the sun, I get sun, I mean, sun feels
This can be cleaned.
everything else, that's it.
Yeah.
Take this out of here. We have all the parts in here. There's the retainer. There is the ball. And again, a set of V-seals. It's the top male gland. Our V-seals, our bottom gland, and a shim. Not all pumps will have the shim. Most will have the shim. Clean everything, and then we can put it back together. Now when we start to put this back together, we're going to start by putting the piston back together. You're going to want to clamp the bottom of the piston in your vise. But when you clamp it, you want to clamp it so that the top of the nut is sticking above the jaws of your vise. So that when you put your parts back on, starting with the shim, it does not hit the top of your vise. You still have space in there. Okay, now we're going to put your V-seals on, starting with the thick. And you're going to put them on one at a time, with the female side facing up. And we'll put our flat cap washer on. Then we'll put the ball back in. Teflon tape. Snug it up, but not too tight. That's our piston back together. Next thing we'll do is we'll put our soft jaws back on. We'll put the throat back in the vise. And we'll put our packings in the throat. Now the female side wants to face down on these. So the small male gland in the bottom, female side down. We'll take our wet cup, the top metal gland, and a wet cup. Screw it in until it just barely touches the top metal gland. Not too tight. Now we'll get our piston in the cylinder. We'll take some iso oil, put it in there, some iso oil on the piston. Now when we put it in there, put it up through there, just kind of wiggle it, get it in the position. Make sure you do not cross thread. Once you get that mounted on there, we'll use the rubber end of the handle to push the piston up so that the shaft comes through. Like so. Now we'll put our foot back on. We'll put our cage in first. Then we'll drop our ball. Then we'll put our pin through. Like such. Put that on there. We'll take our wrench and tighten this whole assembly up. Good and snug, you don't have to overkill it. We want to snug up on the wet cup. Put our O-ring back on. Now we can put our rear motor back on. Just spin it on till the holes line up, and you can get your cotter pin through. Alright, quick. Once you get your cotter pin through, bend it over. It's very important to bend it over all the way. Very important to bend it over all the way so that it doesn't scrape on the inside of the wet cup. Align your motor to wherever your port was in relation to your output. And push the motor back down. Reinstall your nuts. Once you have your nuts tight, make sure your wet cup's snug. Put your fire insulation back on. Install it on the machine. After you bleed the machine, retorque this and fill your wet cup half full of ISO oil. Very important. Keep ISO oil in the wet cup. And that's it.